Today's topic is factoring expressions. The essential question is, what's factoring and how do you factor expressions? So factoring. To factor means to break up an expression into numbers that can be multiplied together to get the original expression. Okay. So something that you should probably remember from the olden days, like if you had 5 times 3, that's 15. 5 and 3 are factors. Okay, so now we're going to extend that to the 7th grade level. It says factor the following expression, 12 times x plus 24. So this is the expression we're going to go ahead and factor, and I'm going to show you the process to help you do it very easily. So you should be thinking in your head, what are numbers that go into both 12 and 24? So I'm looking at those coefficients right there. So think of a number that goes into both 12 and 24. And there's quite a few of them. But the first one, for some reason, that came to my mind was 6. 6 goes into both 12 and 24. So when I factor it, when I would write my factors right here, which would be my answer, I would write a 6 right there, like that. And then I would do parentheses, because I'm going to break it up to where I use the distributive property to get this expression, okay? That's all it means when you're factoring expressions. And you got to be thinking to yourself right now, 6 multiplied by what number will give me 12x, okay? So 6 times 2 gives me 12, but I want it to give me 12x, so it's going to be 2x, okay? And now you got to go 6 multiplied by what number will give me a positive 24. Well, 6 times a positive 4 will give me a positive 24. And this may not be so straightforward at first to you until you practice some more. But here's how to double check and make sure you're correct. Rewrite what you wrote, and then just use the distributive property to check it. Okay? So multiply to see if you get the original expression. So this is what I got. So 6 times 2x is 12x, just like right there. Now 6 times a positive 4 is a positive 24. And that's exactly what we got. So that right there is one of the answers of when it's asking me to factor that expression. Okay, let's try another one together. Again, think of a number that goes into both 12 and 24. And I'm going to say 4. Okay, so now right here, you're going to put a 4 outside the parentheses, and you're going to be thinking in your head, 4 multiplied by what number is 12x? Well, 4 times 3 is 12, but we want it to be 12x, so it would be 3x. And then you got to think 4 times what number will give me a positive 24? And it would be a positive 6. Okay, so now check your work. And let's check. 4 times 3x is 12x. 4 times a positive 6 is a positive 24. And that was the original expression, so we are correct. Okay? I want you to try the next one on your own. I want you to factor out a 2. Pause the video right now and go ahead and do that. Now this is what you should get. Okay? And of course I want you to check it. Two times 6x is 12x. 2 times a positive 12 is a positive 24. So yeah, we're right. Okay, the next number that I want you to factor out and then pause the video to practice is 12. Factor out a 12. Do it right now. And this is what you should get. 12 multiplied by what number is 12x? Well, it's x. Or it's cool if you write 1x. That's the exact same thing. Because you'll see right there, there's only 1x chilling right there. You can put a 1 in front of it just to be more obvious. All right, 12 times what number will give you a positive 24? And that's going to be a positive 2. And yes, you always want to check just to make sure you didn't have a brain fart. Okay, so 12 times x is 12x. So far, so good. 12 times a positive 2 is a positive 24. Yep, same exact original. There we go. Okay, now I want you to practice by factoring out a 3. Factor out a 3 and go ahead and do that. Pause the video, do it. This is what you should get. And of course you would check it over here. You need to distribute it through, the 3 through, which means multiply all those factors, or all those numbers inside the parentheses by 3. Okay, got it right. Okay, last one on this practice. I want you to factor out a -2, okay? Do that. Pause the video, try it. Okay, -2 times what number will give you a positive 12x? Well, I know a negative times a negative will give me a positive, and I want a positive value right here. So I need to make sure that is a negative, okay? And then I know 2 times 6 is 12, so this would be -6, because -2 times a -6 is a positive 12. But remember, I want 12x, so I'm going to tack on an x right there to go with that, to make that a coefficient. All right, -2 times what number is going to give you a positive 24? So I know a negative times a negative is going to be a positive, so I'm going to make a negative right there. So -2 times a -12 will give me a positive 24. And that one, you might have had a little bit of trouble with, so definitely always check it. Okay. -2 times -6x is positive 12x. -2 times -12 is a positive 24. And that is the original expression. Okay, what you need to do right now, you need to factor this expression, okay? Try to find as many answers that you can, like factors, as you can for this, and do the same process as you saw right up here. So it says 12 times x minus 48. So you notice it's very similar to this one, but I changed, instead of a positive 24, I made it a negative 48. So keep your eyes peeled for that, okay? All right, flip the page over. Number 1 says, factor the following expressions. Well, number 1 through 4. Factor those following expressions. So let's go ahead and find as many possible factors as possible. So think of a number that goes into both 6 and -24. So I'm going to factor out, what comes to mind is 6. Okay? So 6 times what number is 6u? Well, it's u, or 1u, same thing. And 6 times what number is a -24? Well, this is positive. I need to go positive times a negative to get a negative. So that would be -4. Okay, let's factor out a 3, because 3 goes into both 6 and that 24 right there. So 3 times what equals 6u? And that's 2u. 3 times what number is a -24? And it's -8. Okay? Now I want you to factor out a 2 and try it. Okay, this should be 3u minus 12. And again, to check it, just multiply through 6u minus 24. Boom. 3u times 2u is 6u right there. 3 times a -8 is a -24, so this one's correct also. And then the third one, 2 times 3u is 6u, so that's right so far. 2 times a -12 is a -24, so that's right. Okay, number 2. Let's go ahead and factor this. I'm going to factor out a 10. I want you guys and girls to factor out a 10, a 2, a 5, and a 20. Okay? Do that and figure out what you get. Pause the video and see what, make sure that you get the correct answer. Okay? So 10 times what number is 100v, and that's 10v. 10 times what number is a positive 20, and that'd be a positive 2. 2 times what number is a positive 100v, and that's 50v. 2 times what number is a positive 12? That's a positive 10. That says 2, by the way. Okay. 5 times what number is 100v? And that is 20v. 5 times what number is a positive 20? And that's a positive 4. 20 times what number is a positive 100v? And that's 5v. 20 times what number is a positive 20? And that's a positive 1. Okay, number 3. It might look a little bit intimidating just because there are more terms in it, but same exact process. Think of a number that goes into these coefficients, 18, 81, and 27, and I know that 9 goes into all of them. So 9 times what number is 18w, and that's 2w. 9 times what number is a -81c? So positive times a negative will give me a negative. So I need to make it a negative 9c. And then 9 times what number is a negative? So it's going to be a negative 27z, and that's a negative 3z. Okay? Try factoring out of 3. Do it yourself. Pause the video. And then here's what you should get. It's very important that you practice this by pausing the video periodically, okay? Because that's how you're really going to test if you understand something. If you can do it by yourself, that's awesome. And that's what you're going to have to do for quizzes and tests. Okay, 30 times A plus 15 times B minus 60. Okay, go ahead and pause the video. Try to do that whole thing by yourself. Here's some possible answers you could have gotten. Factor out of 5. 5 times what number is 30A, and that's 6A. 5 times what number is a positive 15B? It's a positive 3B. 5 times what number is a negative 60? And that's negative 12. Okay, let's factor out 15. 15 times what number is 30A? And that's 2A. 15 times what number is a positive 15B? And that's a positive 1B or B, same thing. 15 times what number is negative 60? And that's going to be a negative 4. Okay, let's go ahead and factor out of 3. 3 times what number is 30A? And that's 10A. 3 times what number is a positive 15B? That's a positive 5B. 3 times what number is a negative 60? So that's going to be negative 20. And I'm sure you probably could have thought of more of these, like if you would have factored out a negative, but these are the ones where I just had a positive value that I factored out, okay? All right, number 5, 6, 7, and 8. Select all expressions that are equivalent to the given expressions. So right here I have that, 100x plus 10. So they give you boxes right here, and you're going to check, select all expressions that are equivalent to 100x plus 10. So what I would do is, yeah, you can factor it out like we've done up here, but if they give you options, it's much easier for me anyway to use the distributive property. That's faster for me. But you can do it however way works best for you, all right? So I'm going to first look at this one. 5 times 20x, well, that's 100x. And then 5 times a positive 2 is a positive 10. Oh, look, same thing. Okay? Let's see, I distribute this through. 100 times x is 100x. 100 times a positive 1 is a positive 100. Okay, that doesn't match. So let's go 10 times 10x. That is 100x. 10 times a positive 1 is a positive 10. So that one does match. Okay, so next up, negative 10 times a negative 10x is a positive 100x. Negative 10 times a negative 1 is a positive 10. So, yeah, that one worked. Okay, let's see. 2 times 50x, that's 100x. 2 times a positive 5 is a positive 10. So that one also works. Okay, let's try number 6. We have to select all expressions that are equivalent to 24 times d minus 36. So I'm going to just use my strategy of using the distributive property. It's much easier and faster for me anyway. So 2 times 12d, let's see, that's 24d. 2 times a positive 18 is a positive 36. And at first you might think that's correct, but that is incorrect because how this is a minus 36 and this is a plus 36, so that is not an equivalent expression. All right, right here, 12 times 2d is 24d. 12 times a negative 2 is a negative 24. So that's still not an equivalent expression to that original one. 4 times 6d is 24d. 4 times a positive 9 is a positive 36. Again, that's not an equivalent expression. So 2 times 18 is a negative, 36? 2 times a positive 12d is a positive 20, that says positive 24d. And at first you might think, oh, that's not right. But yes, this is definitely correct. I'm going to check this box because look, this right here is a a minus 36, and right there is a minus 36, or a negative 36, and that's a negative 36, okay? And that right there is a positive 24D, and that right there is a positive 24D. So yeah, that's definitely a match, and you definitely need to check that box, okay? Okay, this next one, 3 times 8D, that's 24D. 3 times a positive 13 is a positive 39. So that's not a match. So there's only one box that we selected for number 6. Okay, if I were you, I definitely try to pause the video and try to do this on your own so you get that practice for the upcoming assessments. Alright, so I'm going to distribute. 4 times 4y is 16y. 4 times a negative 5 is a negative 20, so that's not a match. 2 times y is 2y. 2 times a negative 10 is a negative 20. That's not a match either. 2 times 4y is 8y. 2 times a positive 10 is a positive 20. That's not a match because that's a negative 20 and that's a positive 20. So 2 times 4y is 8y. 2 times a negative 10 is a negative 20. That's match. Okay. Negative 4 times a negative 2y is positive 8y because a negative times a negative is a positive. Do your tic-tac-toe thing if you forgot. Negative 4 times a positive 5 is a negative 20. And that's also a match. Okay? So in case you're like, what is she talking about, that tic-tac-toe thing? Okay? So a positive times a negative gives you a negative answer. A negative times a positive gives you a negative answer. A negative number times a negative number gives you a positive number as the answer. Okay? That works for multiplication. And also division, but we're multiplying here because division's like positive divided by negative is a negative, negative divided by positive is a negative, negative divided by negative is positive. Okay, so division goes up and down. Okay, sorry. Number 8, simplify or select all expressions that are equivalent to this given expression. And again, it's an expression because there's no equal sign. So 12 times e plus 6 times g minus 18. So I'm going to use the distributive property. 6 times 6e is 36e. And I can stop right there. I don't have to waste my time because I already know that that's not going to work because this is 36e, that's a 12e. So, plus I don't really think I'm going to have enough room to do this anyway. So, negative 2 times negative 6e is positive 12e. Okay, so I'm going to keep going because I've got a match so far. Negative 2 times a negative 3g is a positive 6g. Oh, so far, so good. Okay, negative 2 times a positive 9 is going to be negative 18. Okay, that's full match. Okay, 2 times 6e is 12e, and if I were you, I'd keep going because so far we're matching. 2 times a positive 3g is a positive 6g. Then 2 times that negative 9 is a negative 18. Same exact expression up there once I've distributed that 2 through. Okay, let's try this one. 2 times 10e is 20e, and look, that's the 12e, so that's not going to work. Let's try this. 6 times 2e, that's 12e. 6 times g is positive 6g. 6 times a negative 3 is a negative 18. And that is also a match. Okay? All right. Now your job is for your summaries. You need to pick either number 2, number 3, or number 4 and rewrite it and redo it. So rewrite this one, or this one, and then go ahead and factor it yourself, do it yourself, and then check and see if you're correct. And if you find a mistake, pinpoint that mistake so you can learn from your point of confusion, okay? So you don't make the same mistake again. All right, bye.